Shalawam. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto YAHAWAH BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA QADASH. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. SHALAWAAM, CHASAADYAM, Barakyam. Peace, mercy, and blessings unto all of you, Barakyam, to the BAYATH, DAWADA, to the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahawah, which means he exists, that he is to be. The true name of the Son is YAHAWASHI, which means he delivers. Okay? And when you pray to the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, you must pray to him in the name of the Son. Bahashem is the Paleo-Hebrew, or the Lashon Kodash for in the name. Okay, and what you see is an article from strangesounds.org. You know, and there's just a lot. There's just a lot going on through the spirit. You know, tensions are heating up in the in the Middle East with, you know, Iran, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, America, you know, China, Taiwan. And this is just more fuel to the fire that's happening globally. Okay, so call YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHWAH. We're just a few weeks away from 2022, and all hell is breaking loose, man. Okay, so yeah, it says planned global famine is underway amid droughts, conflict, as well as rocketing food and production prices. Okay, so we're getting ready to witness food hyperinflation in the grocery stores, man. Okay, so you know what's going to come with that. There's going to be riots. They're going to try to have the military guard these markets. Bullets are going to fly. Okay, people are already getting followed home and having their groceries stolen. I believe it's happening a lot over there on the West Coast. But that's going to be a worldwide thing, man. Okay, it says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Okay, it says global food prices are soaring. Fertilizer costs are sky high. In Afghanistan, nearly 23 million people, more than half of their population, are expected to face potentially life-threatening food insecurity this winter. We're already into winter, man. It's going down, man. Okay, call YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHWAH. Everything that is written, you know, is going to be fulfilled, because the word of the Lord, it can't, neither does it does not go out void. Okay, Madagascar is confronting its worst drought in 40 years, with more than 1 million people there in urgent food aid. It should say in need of urgent food aid. You know, and I say this all the time. They should pay me to proofread these damn articles, man. All right. It says, is a new global food crisis coming? In an interview this week, Maximo Torino-Cullen, chief economist at the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, told me the answer is not yet, but we could be on the brink. The world is witnessing an increase in localized and conflict-driven food crisis, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa. But across the globe, the food price surges of recent months are still not as bad as the two critical spikes sparked by weather, biofuel production, and surging Asian demand in 2007, 2008, and 2011, 2012. That doesn't mean we won't get there because of the pandemic. Global hunger shot up by an estimated 118 million people worldwide in 2020, jumping to 768 million people, the most since as far as back as 2006. The number of people living with food insecurity, or those forced to compromise on food quantity or quality, surged by 318 million to 2.38 billion. Okay, it says, as the rollouts lag in the developing world, Cullen told today's Worldview that he fears the slower economic recoveries in low and medium income nations could worsen the food insecurity picture further in 2022. It says, here's the interview. How did the pandemic change the nature of global food insecurity, and how is the problem evolving? The major drivers before the 19 were conflict and climate and economic downturns. It says lockdowns and 19 have exacerbated those problems. But what is new are two things. One is the significant recovery plans and inflation we are seeing as the U.S., China, and other countries create excess demand, which has affected, of course, prices because of their demand for commodities. The competitions for containers have exacerbated the situation, making transportation costs higher. The other element is fertilizer prices. So there's different elements that are going to play a key role in this global famine that's going to hit. And this famine is going to be very, very bad upon Babylon, because Babylon is what, it's a consumer nation. They rely on these other nations to bring in their imports, which is why off the coast of the West Coast, you got just containers sitting with goods on it, man, not being able to come in. Okay, so the country right now is pretty much under a blockade. Okay. An act or means of sealing off a place to prevent goods or people from entering or leaving. Because you can't leave this place if you don't got no passport, you don't got the right credentials. Okay, you and that's why it says in Jeremiah, who did hold them fast and they refused to let them go. Okay, they know what they're doing. They don't want you to leave, but they're going to their deep underground military bases. Okay, because they think they're going to be able to hide from the judgment. Okay, it says the other element is fertilizer prices and scarcities. Countries like Bolivia that used to export to Peru, for instance, are exporting much less. An incredible shrinkage. Russia has put some export limits on fertilizers. China produces 1/4 of the fertilizers in the world, but now they are also importing. So the pressure on that sector is different than we've ever faced before. It's a lot different than what we ever faced before. Okay, now the thing with fertilizer, okay, that's a very key commodity for farmers, man. Okay, it says farmers turn to fertilizers because these substances contain plant nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Fertilizers are simply plant nutrients applied to agricultural fields to supplement required elements found naturally in the soil. Fertilizers has been used since the start of agriculture. So really, you shouldn't even need fertilizers, but you need them because of all the Monsanto genetically modified, all of the chemtrails, all of the fracking and everything that's done to the earth. The earth is simply not yielding an increase. On top of that, this man has the Bible in his possession, but he doesn't really apply the laws of the scriptures, man. So it's another reason why the land ain't yielding this increase, man. Okay, this is Leviticus 25, the Sabbatic year and the year of Jubilee. I'm just start from the top. And YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHWASHI spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and said to them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. Sabbath means rest. Okay? Rest meaning what? You cease from working, from plowing, from sowing, okay, from using your animals. You stop that work, man, because you have to give the land a break. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard. That which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee. You see, so if we lived in a righteous world where we applied, these laws, statutes, and commandments, which is really the wisdom of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM, you wouldn't have the threat of global famine. Okay, because if this man took care of the earth, you wouldn't have to use goddamn fertilizer. Okay, but but now they're saying the price of food is going to go up because these farmers can't get fertilizer, so they're going to yield less crops. So it's very bad, man. It ain't looking good. Okay, it's not looking good. It says, when is the last time we saw the threat of famine or hunger on a scale that we're seeing today? Okay, this is worse than 07-08 for sure in terms of what we call levels of acute food insecurity driven by conflict. But globally, the overall situation is still better in those years in the sense that we still have food availability. But the problem today is a food access. Okay, now I want to play this video. Let me just go to YouTube. Okay.
If you want to get into crypto, you need to check out Coinbase. Coinbase is the primary platform for buying, selling.
What's up, guys? I'm Nobody Special. And tomorrow in the States, we're going to sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, and it's going to be the most expensive Thanksgiving dinner in history because, as we all know, inflation has really hit grocery prices recently. But the story that is not getting nearly enough attention is how expensive next year's food is about to get because fertilizer prices are going straight up with no sign of slowing. This means that the price hikes we've seen in food so far this year are nothing compared to what's coming. Are you ready? Hit it. Like this video, subscribe to my... Here we have on Progressive Farmer, DTN retail fertilizer trend. Nitrogen fertilizer leads the way higher, $5 per ton. Now, it is not just fertilizer prices that are going up, because I saw this article talking about fertilizer and herbicide. And this is on AgWeb. Will fertilizer and herbicide prices fall before spring? Why experts say it's highly unlikely. Looking here, the supply chain constraints are continuing to plague agriculture, and as farmers work to make input decisions for the 2022 season, economists expect high input prices to persist through spring. One major reason for the severe supply chain constraints is China, as nearly 75% of the active ingredients and crop protection chemicals come from China. During a recent supply chain discussion hosted by Farm Journal, Rabo research analyst Sam Taylor said China is the main source of herbicide supply issues for 2022. Taylor, who researches the farm input sector in North America, not only looks at fertilizers and agrochemicals, but the broad farm economy as well. Between 70% and 75% of active ingredients do come from China. Taylor told AgriTalk host Chip Flory, if you drill down into the data, somewhere close to 90% of the intermediaries which go into production of active ingredients are actually sourced from China. So what we're looking at right now is American farmers have some major price exposure to farm inputs from China right now. And keep in mind, a lot of these chemical production facilities in China and in Europe are slowing production or shutting down outright because natural gas prices have gotten so expensive that these facilities can't operate profitably. And that means we are looking at possibly nitrogen fertilizer shortages in the spring. This is a very big deal because higher nitrogen prices means higher food production costs, and if farmers are tempted to use less fertilizer, we could see reduced crop yields. Either way, this means food prices are going higher, and they are going a lot higher. And here was...
There you go. Now you can watch the rest of this video. It's only about, what, 13 minutes, 30 seconds. You know, it got some good information on there. You know, but as you heard from the video, this is going to result in less food. All right, they're going to yield less crops, and the price of the food is going to go up. You know, because what you know, this devil uses the fertilizer to give nutrients to the soil, which those nutrients should already be in the soil, but it's just not there. You know, because of how he's treating the earth. All right, because of all the chemicals. Okay, the radiation. You know, the genetically modified foods, how he treats the animals, you know, all of this stuff, man. So it's just not there anymore. And then when you get your food, you know, your food is supposed to have vitamins, nutrients, minerals in it, but they're just not there anymore. And you have to take supplements. Man, we got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here, man, because if not, there wouldn't be no flesh to be saved, just like YAHAWASHI said. You know, it says, fertilizers are added to crops in order to produce enough food to feed the human population. Fertilizers provide crops with nutrients like potassium, phosphorus, and nitrogen, which allow crops to grow bigger, faster, and to produce more food. Okay, let's see. It says fertilizers are chemical substances supplied to the crops to increase their productivity. These are used by the farmers daily to increase the crop yield. The fertilizers contain the essential nutrients required by the plants, including nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. So, since a lot of farmers won't be able to have access to the fertilizer, they're not going to yield as much of an increase as they would yield in the past. Okay, which will result in lack of food and higher food prices. Okay, now let's go to second address. This is second address 15. I'm going to start at 10. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. The my people are the Israelites. Okay, all 12 tribes from Judah to Issachar, the so-called Latinos, natives, Seminole Indian, people of South and Central America, people of the islands, Jamaicans, Haitians, Dominicans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, etc. Okay, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. And a lot of time, it's one of our own, you know, leading us to that slaughter, because a lot of our own people are Judah's goats. They're sellouts, man. All right, tells you in Jeremiah 5th chapter that among my people are found wicked men. It says, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. The modern day Egypt is America, the house of bondage for the Israelites. Okay, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Okay, so what Yahweh Shai, he's destroying all the land. He's smiting the foundation. He's visiting with earthquakes, tornadoes, whirlwinds, volcano eruptions, you name it. Okay, and where the Lord's going to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel with that stretched out arm is as birds flying. You know, birds fly in formation. You know, it's very, very militant how they fly. They come. It'd be thousands of them, man, if not hundreds. You know, so you can expect as chariots, all right, heavenly vehicles, okay? And that's how the elect are going to be delivered up out of here, man. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that YAHAWAH BAHASHAM shall bring upon it. So that's part of the plague and the punishment, that the soil, nothing's growing, okay? And then these goddamn farmers, these people, they can't afford fertilizer, so nothing definitely ain't going to grow, man. It says, they that till the ground shall mourn, right? These people going to mourn for the prices. They're going to mourn because of the so-called natural disasters. They're going to mourn for crop failure. They're going to mourn for death. It's a lot of reasons why they're going to mourn. Okay? For their seed shall fail through the blasting in hell, and with a fearful constellation. All right? Call all Yahweh Shai, man. The famine is pretty much here. Okay? But the heat of it is only going to turn up. Okay? I believe it also tells you in Jeremiah, he's cutting off the sword, man. In fact, let me see if I can find that. This is Jeremiah 50 and 16. Cut off the sword from Babylon, and him that handled the sickle in the time of harvest. For the fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land, which is what you're going to have, you know. Which is why you know, you already have it on the lower level now. People are pretty much sticking to their own. You got Chinatown, you got the hoods, you got the suburbs. You know, of course, you got different groups of people sprinkled amongst all these locations, but it's going to get to a point where these different heathens that are here, they're going to make the decision to go back to where they came from because they ain't profitable. It's not safe. It's not good to have a family. Nothing, you know, there's no reason for them to stay here anymore, you see. And with the sword being cut off, and what the Most High is going to do, he's pretty much throwing a monkey wrench in the food supply. All right, and going all the way to the foundation. The foundation of Babylon is actually smitten. You know, and really this goes back to goes back to what the Lord did unto Cain. Okay, because we're living in this man's dominion right now. This is Genesis 4. I'm just going to get to the point. All right, Genesis 4 and 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which had opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. You see, a fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Call Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. Okay, because when you read up, Cain was, you know, a farmer, tiller of the ground, if you will, but Abel was a shepherd. You know, he was a keeper of the sheep. Okay, just like King David was a shepherd, man. Okay, and this nigga Cain slew his brother Abel. Abel's blood spilt in the ground, and ever since then, the Lord put that curse on him, along with the mark of leprosy, which is the mark of Cain. And this man was reincarnated as Esau. Okay, and we're living out his blessing that was bestowed upon Esau by Isaac, which is to have the fatness of the earth. Okay, but with that, he's still battling in this, man. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. Okay, so call LAWAYA like YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. So it makes sense that we'll be in a famine under this guy's rulership, man. Okay, it says, as rollouts lag in the developing world, Cullen told today's worldview that he fears the slower economic recoveries in low and medium income nations could worsen the food insecurity picture further in 2022. It says, here's the interview. How did the pandemic change the nature of global food insecurity, and how is the problem evolving? The major drivers before the 19 were conflict and climate and economic downturns. It says, LD and 19 have exacerbated those problems, but what is new are two things. One of these significant recovery plans and inflation we are seeing as the U.S., China, and other countries creates excess demand, which has affected, of course, prices because of their demand for commodities. The competition for containers have exacerbated the situation, making, I'm sorry, I actually read all of this. I should be down. It says, when is the last time that we saw the threat of famine or world hunger on a scale that we're seeing today? Okay, I actually read this too. Let me see if I can find where I was at. Okay, it says, but it is entertaining a situation that I call an orange light and potentially a red light if we're not careful. We don't have a food crisis today, which we do. We have a problem of recession and food excess, but we have food available. This could change next year if the issues of fertilizers is not resolved. It's not going to be resolved. It's only going to worsen, and more problems will arise. Okay, because the Lord said that there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, it says, where do you see the biggest threats of famine or food insecurity? It says it's the sub-Saharan Africa. All right, that is where the situation is getting out of control, which there's a lot of Israelites over there. Okay, and many countries, including the Dominican Republic of Congo, Nigeria, South Sudan, and Central African Republic. Then you have Yemen, and of course you have Afghanistan. If we don't rush aid into Afghanistan, we will lose the harvest, and the situation there will be dramatic. And you also have Haiti, and then of course you have Venezuela, which could also be significantly affected. In Afghanistan, the West appears to be facing a moral dilemma the U.S. and Europe don't want to be seen as backing a harsh Taliban regime, yet the U.S. and European sanctions and frozen funds are putting more and more Afghans at a risk of hunger. And guess what? You got of hunger and famine. And guess what? You got a lot of Jakes in Afghanistan too, because Israel is a scattered nation, man. All right?
A nation struggling to survive. A hospital struggling to cope. The war is over in Afghanistan, but hunger is the new threat. These mothers desperately waiting for nutrition packs for their malnourished babies. A million children are at risk of starvation. With international funding cut off following the Taliban takeover, Afghanistan's aid-dependent economy is collapsing. Life for many here has always been hard, but with food prices and unemployment rising, more families than ever recorded are going hungry.
نمیر روزی که بیام آمدن نمی مریض یک روپیه پول نداشت که به خود خو بگیره. ما فقط همیشه شفاخانه است. حتی دکتر صاحبای ما بگرفتن همیشه مثلا دوا کمک کردن میگرفتن به ای بدادن که تی رسیده.
We've come to the remote province of Gore. It's a 10-hour drive to the nearest big city. The snow here picturesque, but there's less than usual. Drought is adding to the crisis. We're visiting the province's only hospital. Staff are being paid for the first time in 5 months after the International Committee of the Red Cross stepped in. But most patients have to buy their own medicines.
Everything we're witnessing, you know, around the world, you know, it's going to hit America. You know, it's going to hit America like a Mike Tyson knockout punch, man. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those, like a combination of Mike Tyson uppercuts, man. You know, it's going to be very bad. It's going to be very harsh for you wicked woman that will not repent until, you know, and return to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM, and that's going to affect children, man. You know?
The supplies are so low.
We don't have anything now. There's a lot of
medicines yourself?
No medicines. Yeah.
How difficult is it for you as a doctor?
We're suffering, just sometimes crying.
If you want to get an idea of how dysfunctional things here can be,
yeah, that's all I'm going to play. You know, you can watch that if you want to. You know, the article, it is kind of lengthy. You know, I don't want to, you know, read it all because I don't want to make this lesson too long. But let's get some more information, though. It says, do you see a way out? We are a technical agency. We are working in Afghanistan trying to supply seeds and fertilizers under the humanitarian emergency operation that we have in place together with the World Food Program. We need to ensure that there's a supply of needed inputs for the production that season. If not, the problem will be even worse. The World Bank said over the weekend that international donors have agreed to transfer $280 million from a frozen trust to WFP and to UNICEF to support nutrition and health in Afghanistan. How much will that help to forestall the threat of famine? Okay, it will depend on how the money will be used. It says, it is our expectations that the money is not only going to be used for emergency meals, but it's also going to be used for inputs like fertilizers and seeds. Look, the situation is not good at all. More than half of the country's population is at higher risk of moving into a humanitarian emergency. At the same time, La Nina will continue to cause extreme weather patterns across different regions of Afghanistan. But the major problem right now is the lack of access to inputs and to food. It says, how do you fix that? By assuring the next season so that farmers can do their planning so that the next harvest is assured. Okay. Let's see what this video is.
A new study
Actually, let me go to YouTube on this one if I can. No, it won't let me.
has shown that global warming has played a minor role in the famine situation in southern Madagascar, blaming poverty and natural climate variability. The southern part of the Indian Ocean island has been hit by a drought unseen in decades, which has plunged more than 1 million people into acute malnutrition. In June, the World Food Programme described this crisis as the first famine caused by global warming due to human activities. However, the World Weather Attribution has attributed the situation to the drastic change in rainfall patterns due to a rainfall deficit of 24 consecutive months between July 2019 and June 2021. Financing adaptation to the impact of global warming is one of the most sensitive issues in international climate negotiations, with developing countries demanding more help from rich countries to cope with the crisis.
Let's get some precepts. Actually, I got one more article. It says, this is from fortune.com. It says, I'm afraid we're going to have a food crisis. The energy crunch has made fertilizer too expensive to produce, says the our CEO. Unlike other shortages, a food crisis is a matter of life or death. Okay. It says rising inflation is costing you more. So, man, you know, rent, you know, hey, food is already high as fuck, man. You know, then you got to pay your rent, you know, because if you don't, where you going to live? You going to sleep out your car? Most people can't afford a car. Cars are very expensive. The gas is expensive. Okay, so people are going to be pushed to the breaking point and ultimately to the point of no return, which is why there's a very high increase in murder, okay, and killings and home invasions and robberies. It says the world is facing the prospect of a dramatic shortfall in food production as rising energy prices cascade through global agriculture. The CEO of Norwegian fertilizer giant YAHAWADAH International says, I want to say this loud and clear right now, that we risk a very low crop in the next harvest, says Sven Tor, okay, Hollister, the CEO and president of the Oslo-based company. I'm afraid that we're going to have a food crisis. So everybody, man, you know, it's everywhere. Everybody knows that there's going to be a crisis, or at least the people, you know, who deal in that realm. You see, it tells you in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, that those who look out the window be darkened. So, you know, these people that watch the stock markets, they see the shit crash, and these people that are watching, you know, the crops over the food, the harvest, they see, hey, the only thing left is famine. Okay. I don't know if this one has sound, but it's all right. Couldn't read it. But you shouldn't be eating bacon and pork any fucking way. All right, hell, you shouldn't even eat red meat like that, man. You can't really eat fish like that because it's got all type of mercury and chemicals and plastic and shit in it, man. You know? To get very, very bad. It's the second Esdras 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when a child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Okay, now let's go up. This is 2nd Esdras 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. This is going to come upon the world, many great miseries. The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Well, the answer to that is his trust upon YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. Call upon his name, have faith and believe, expect and hope for good. Run to that strong tower, man. Okay, because the believers, the true worshipers, the elect, will be protected. Okay, it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, right? Scourges for correction. Okay, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, right? That hyperinflation ain't hit yet. I mean, yeah, the food costs are up, but you can still somewhat get what you need, or not. You can still should go to a Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, and make something happen. Okay, it says, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, the sword, right? Famine and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. I mean, a lot of people is going to starve, man. Men, women, and children. And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, whether it be through UN troops, martial law, different militias, raiders raiding your home. Okay, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Okay, this is Ezekiel 7. I'm going to start at let me see. It says, punishment for wickedness foretold. I'm going to jump down to verse 5. Thus said YAHAWAH BAHASHAM, in evil only, behold, is come. And end is come, the end is come, a watcher for thee, behold, it is come. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land, the time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. Okay? It says, now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thy abominations. Right? That's what's getting ready to come to Babylon, especially Babylon, but it's going to happen. It's going to be different all over the world, man. All right? And my eyes shall not spare, neither would I have pity. I will recompense thee according to thy ways, and thine abominations that are in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am YAHAWAH BAHASHAM that smited. Behold, the day is come. Behold the day. Behold, it is come. The morning is gone forth. The rod had blossomed. Pride had budded. Right? It also tells you in 2nd Esdras that because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. All right? Violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness, and violence is up all across the board over America. Violence, murders, killing, people getting shot, people stealing people's cars, people stealing Cadillac converters, all type of stuff, man. All right? None of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor of any of theirs, and neither shall there be any wailing for them. The time is come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold. Okay, although they were yet alive, for the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return. Neither shall any strengthen himself in iniquity of his life. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. It says, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. Man, God, Lord, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. You got this new Omarion variant. Okay. He that is in the field shall die with the sword. All right. Being it, different wars fought by militias, whatever, man. And he that's in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour, right? Because there's going to be a lot of dead bodies in this city. And from those dead bodies that will not be buried is going to result into more people getting sick. Okay, and these cities, they're going to be besieged. They're going to be You know, a man shall desire to go to a city and shall not be able to. So you're not going to be able to get out or in. So the people that's in the city, they're going to starve, man, because they ain't going to have any supplies. Nor will they be able to get to any. Okay? I'll get one more scripture, then I'm going to close it, man. Because this is judgment for the wicked. The Most High is going to protect his elect, his chosen. Men, women, and children. Most High is going to make sure they eat, they drink. They're going to be good. See? Security of those who trust in YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. Okay, let's go down to (17). For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but YAHAWAH BAHASHAM upholdeth the righteous. YAHAWAH BAHASHAM knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. All right? The Most High is going to make sure we're satisfied, man. All praise YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. I believe it's 2nd Esdras 2. Let me make sure. This is 2nd Esdras 2 and 26. It says, As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Okay? Be not weary, for when a day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Right? YAHAWAH BAHASHAM is going to make sure we have everything we need. You know, of course, spiritually first, faith, hope, trust, confidence. You know, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Be joyful, O thy mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, said YAHAWAH BAHASHAM. So you're going to have men, women, and children be delivered, but, you know, you have to be part of the Most High's elect. That's why we say, Lord willing, we be part of that number, you know. But with that, I'm going to close it there. You know, I pray that this has been edifying and comforting. You know, call halalyam la, all praises to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. SHALAWAAM, Barakyam. Peace, mercy, and blessing to the elect. SHALAWAAM.